Hey everybody, welcome to another video devotion. Today I want to talk with you about your thought life, because our minds control so much more than we realize. What you think matters. Your thoughts influence your feelings, and your feelings impact your actions. And if you want to become a spiritually healthy and emotionally healthy person, you have to learn to manage what you allow into your mind. Otherwise, your thoughts and emotions will end up controlling you instead of the other way around. Now, before we go any further, let me relieve you of some false guilt today. You are not responsible for every random thought that pops into your head. Stray thoughts happen to everybody. Sometimes it's because of conversations we overhear. Sometimes it's things that we accidentally see online or on television. Sometimes it's fear, anxiety, or temptation. And yes, sometimes the enemy loves to plant destructive thoughts in our minds. The issue is not that a thought entered your mind. The issue is, what do you do with it once it gets there? Martin Luther once says, "You can't keep the birds from flying over your head, but you can keep them from building a nest in your hair." That's such a powerful picture. You can't stop every thought from passing through your mind, but you do have a choice about what thoughts you entertain, dwell on, and allow to take root. God cares deeply about what we allow into our minds, because what enters our minds eventually shapes our lives. And honestly, a lot of us are feeding our minds on things that have little to no spiritual value. We binge shows for hours. We scroll endlessly. We consume content all day long. And while none of it is necessarily sinful or bad, not all of it's sinful or bad, a lot of it is just basically spiritual junk food. It's kind of like empty calories for the soul. Think about it this way. If all you ate physically was candy, chips, fast food, eventually your body would feel the effects. The same is true mentally and spiritually. Garbage in, garbage out. What you consistently put into your mind will eventually show up in your attitude and in your beliefs and in your emotions and your behavior. That's why Proverbs 15:14 says, "A wise person is hungry for knowledge, while the fool feeds on trash." Wow, that verse is incredibly relevant today. We live in a world where we can consume endless amounts of content every single day. But just because something is available doesn't mean it's beneficial. Now, hear me clearly. I'm not saying you need to throw out your TV or delete every app or buy a flip phone tomorrow. But be intentional. What are you filling your mind with on a regular basis? What gets the first part of your attention every morning? God's Word, prayer, worship, or immediately grabbing your phone and diving into the notifications, headlines, and social media? Romans 12:2 says, let God transform you into a new person by changing the way you think. Transformation starts in the mind. So today, maybe it's time to do a little inventory. What have you been feeding your mind lately? Is it helping you become more like Christ? Is it producing peace and wisdom and hope and joy in your life? Or is it leaving you anxious, angry, distracted, empty, or exhausted? You have the power to decide what gets your attention. And what gets your attention eventually shapes your direction. Thank you for listening today. This was one of those good choices. I hope you have a great day.